All right, let's go ahead and pick up this afternoon, and we're going to take a quick look at this nice old Fisher cassette deck. This is model DD-300. It is a viewer submitted unit. This comes from George. He lives in Savannah, Georgia. And if you watch this channel with any frequency, you probably know he has sent a few things here over the years, and I did videos on quite a few of the things he sent here. Now this tape deck takes me back to the very first video I posted on this channel. I bought a very similar tape deck, model DD-280, and the whole idea of posting that video was when I was getting ready to buy that tape deck, I wasn't able to find any kind of documentation online that would show me an internal view of it. I kind of wanted to know what I was going to get into as far as the mechanism was concerned and what kind of a level of difficulty it was going to be to tear it all down. Couldn't find anything online, so I went ahead and bought the tape deck anyway. And after I was done with it, I decided to make a video so in case anyone else would be looking for that, they could find an internal view of it. So, very nice tape deck. This one doesn't look too much different than the one that I own. His is a little taller, and I think mine is a little longer. But otherwise, the features on it are pretty much the same. The mechanisms are identical. There isn't anything different from my mechanism than his mechanism. And as you might guess, it is not an easy one to take apart and work on. One of the things you'll notice here is a lot of what appears to be just messy wiring. I can assure you that was just like that when I first opened up the tape deck and took it apart. It didn't look any better than it does right now. If anything, it probably looks better than it did when I started. But all these wires are soldered in place over to the circuit board. There are a few removable connectors, but unfortunately, not anything that'll really help you when it's time to get this mechanism out and work on it. So what I did was I unsoldered two wires. There's one right here running up to this little circuit board, and then there's another one running from the tape-in indicator over to the lamps for the backlight of the meters. And so I unsoldered those, got the mechanism out, put a towel down over in this section, turned it upside down, and I was able to do my work over here. And he had the same thing wrong with his that I had wrong with mine. The inner wheel idler drive tire was bad, and so lucky for him, I had another one, and I was able to get his fixed. There's two belts in the tape deck. Both are counter related, and they are very critical that you get these belts in the correct size. If you get too thick of a belt, it will bog down the take-up reel and cause the tape deck to shut off. So you want to make sure you get a nice thin belt, just like came from the factory when you're replacing those. So what I thought we'd do this afternoon, let's do a quick playback and record test with this. And just as the tape deck I bought, this one makes an excellent recording. So I'll set you up in the tripod and we'll do a quick playback and record test on it. All right, let's go ahead and pick back up and we'll do a quick playback and record test on our Fisher DD-300 cassette deck here. And seeing as how Jeff Beck passed away recently, seems only fitting we choose something from his extensive catalog. So I thought we'd go back to the beginning, 1968, the year I was born, for his Truth album. And the track we'll play is Shapes of Things. I know there's other versions of this available, but this original one, in my opinion, not only some of his best work, but certainly some of Rod Stewart's best work. So let's go ahead and we'll reset our tape counter, kick the unit into record, and let's go ahead and get it started. All right, let's go ahead and we'll cut it off right there and we'll back it up and see what we got. Well, I don't know how it's coming through on your laptop speakers or earbuds or whatever you're listening on, but this tape deck makes a very solid recording, very crisp highs. In case you were curious, I am using a chrome tape, and of course Dolby is on. And anytime you're doing any kind of testing or making a copy of something you want to keep for yourself, I do encourage you to get a good tape, a good quality tape. These chrome tapes are still readily available on the internet and priced very reasonably. And that way you're not trying to record on one that's been recorded over several times, or one that's been stored in a temperature environment that's not ideal for a tape that's older. But what I can tell you is, just as the Fisher tape deck that I bought for myself and still have, this one makes a very solid recording. So, as always, I want to thank you guys very much. Appreciate you checking out the video as well as all the videos on the channel. And I do have a full-length video coming that'll be released sometime in February on a car stereo. But until then, thanks very much, and we'll finish out the rest of the few seconds of recording we did with this Jeff Beck here. Come to my